Okay, testing. 1, 2, test, test. Testing, testing. Okay, testing 1, 2, test. Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to try to spread the light, try to redeem the time while you have me on the Red Star along with my brethren. Jehovah, I'm asking for you to grant me wisdom to say the things that are needed to be said at this time. Jehovah, I ask that you inspire this broadcast, that it would be a great glory to you and a great encouragement to my brethren, the faithists who are scattered throughout the world today. And so, Jehovah, I thank you and ask that you spread the light far and wide using this channel in your name. So let it be. All right. My name is Jaquab Ben Yisrael. Welcome to my channel. It's a channel where I dedicate this channel to the Oahspe called the Oahspe Guidebook, the Oahspe Bible. And it's a unique revelation. It's a new revelation from the one whom the world calls God, but they really mean the Creator. And so this is a channel that's dedicated to help brethren to redeem the time, to make the resurrection. We live in a reality where the darkness is very heavy, even though we're in the first 200-year cycle of the new light period. We are in a time of incredible darkness as witnessed by the actions of the world that we live in. On my channel, I want to try to cover look at like current events to show how far away that we have gotten from the Creator. We're in a time right now where really life, it don't mean anything. It don't really even mean anything when you can just kill indiscriminately like we see in this world today and has been for a long time. The Creator says that people who are doing the evil that we are witnessing for the most part are called druges. These are lower spirits and in the lower heavens. They still influence mortals here on the earth. Druges, they're called druges. And they explain the reason why we see the things that we are witnessing, that we are seeing, that are just too incredible to believe. I know that most of you have probably heard about the events over the weekend where 165 little girls were killed in Iran because they've started the war. I know you probably heard about it. I think I've got it on the screen here. 165 girls, schoolgirls. Now, for people such as myself, when you see stuff like this, I mean, along with all the other things that go on, have been going on, it makes me say to myself, the most important thing is to seek what is eternal, look for what is eternal. Because I know that I'm in a situation where certainly the events are showing, they reinforce the temporariness of everything. And it should cause a person to reflect and say to themselves, to question why we have to see these things, witness this type of evil where nothing is really sacred, nothing is really what's a good word for off limits, such as the killing of children and just the bloodshed, the needless bloodshed and the evil and the, I mean, just whatever, whatever. I mean, I think you know what I mean, what I'm trying to describe. Just the reality of living in a world that is under the influence of false gods. Now, the name of my video is The Bible is Not the Creator's Word. And I'm going to go into, I was able to do a little study on it and just show how the Bible is not the Creator's Word, but the Creator, he calls it a partial revelation. He calls it a partial revelation. And what is the world? Think about it. Think about what is the world going to say when they realize that the Bible is not the Creator's word? The Bible is not the Creator's word. It's only a partial revelation which has been corrupted. And the 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 spiritual darkness. I mean, if I keep, I just can't get my head around how the Creator, even in the Bible, he shows you. I mean, I don't. I. It's obvious to a faithist that when you have the Bible and it speaks about the killing, it speaks about the division, it speaks about the rebellion, it speaks about the what's a good word for the contradictions that that alone. I mean, when you see, it should make sense that even in the Bible, it says that, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Now, we know when we hear the word Lord God, we know it's talking about fallen gods. But they have a concept of like unity in the Bible, harmony, you know. And yet, on the other hand, you've got going to war, conquest, killing, and evil. Now, I realize these things I'm talking about is Faithism Oahspe 101. And you would think that it's so obvious that that cannot be the creator's word, whom the world calls God, because it stands to reason, why would God create something only to turn around and kill it? You know, like it says in the Oahspe, I don't create alive in order to kill. I mean, the logic that the creator uses is pretty embarrassing. It's pretty embarrassing in our day and age that the concepts that are in the Oahspe, the unity, the brotherhood of man, his eternal ascension, how it's so different. It's so different from the Bible. Now, pretty soon here, in a minute here, I'm going to go into the study that I did using AI to show the difference between the Bible and the Oahspe. And not just the Bible, but really all the quote unquote spiritual books, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mormon books, the Urantia, all the spiritual books that are out there, which are really meant for the confusion, to confuse people. And how the creator, he consolidates all of them into one to show you, he consolidates all. I mean, there's some things that we can learn from reading different spiritual books, because they operate on a concept too of you. you can they operate on concepts of love and unity and harmony amongst one another and the worship of spiritual being. The problem, the main problem is that it's not the concepts that are found in different spiritual books, but it's where they lead you to. That's like the bottom line right there, where you get led to. And these doctrines, these religions, these different faiths, it's where they lead people to ultimately. That is the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem right there, is where you get led to. And usually you get led to a false God. As simple as that. Wait till the world finds out that the Bible is not the word of the Creator. And we're at such a point where you can't really, it's not something that's going to be well received, because people, they're set in their ways. People are set in their ways. People are not used to, what's a good word for new knowledge? People are false gods have conditioned people to have tunnel vision. This here is a channel where I want to use it to expose the reality that we live in. I want to use it to expose the darkness that we are under. Not faithists, not talking about faithists, but when you read the Oahspe, it talks about gods and spirits and mortals, and the only way that we're going to learn is by observing. We got to look at where we live, man. Studying spirituality. The Creator calls us, we have to take on knowledge. Now, I'm just the type of brother where I look at the world I live in. I look at people. I look at what they do. I look at what they say. Now, when I was younger, I didn't really have a foundation that I could really rely on. I could go back to in order to judge things and judge my reality and make a decision about what was right or what was wrong. A lot of us were in that situation. You just kind of get thrown out there and then you bounce around. You might go from one faith to another trying to find what's right. And the Creator, he let us live in uncertainty and doubt. He let us live in that for a while. And so he, like I was saying in my other video, the Creator, he describes our reality as an agricultural hothouse. Now, that's where you can grow plants in any type of weather. Hothouses are conducive to growing plants in any kind of weather, and that's how he describes us. We as faithists, we're here on the red star, we're here on the earth, and the purpose is for us to eventually resurrect, to ascend, to find the Creator, or he finds us. I don't know how it works. And he puts us in all kinds of situations. We're subject to deception. We're subject to, the Creator calls us to fight the evil that's within ourselves, the Satan within ourselves that tends to evil. He tells us that we are up against, that we have druges, what's called druges, spirits who have passed on, but who have not resurrected, who are still here on the earth in spirit form, and they affect mortals. They what's a good word for, druges influence spirits. They influence spirits. That's the reason why you see the division, the killing, the evil, the bloodshed history of man, the ungodliness. The Creator says this is the result of druges, evil spirits that influence men using evil vibrations to get men to bind themselves to their lower nature, the lower nature. They bind themselves to their lower nature. And the seriousness of that is the creator. One thing I've learned since the time that I had spent off about the creator is that the creator is not like, like, he's not like mankind in the sense that he's not, swayed with emotion. He's not bribed, you know. He simply tells you, hey, this is how you make the resurrection. If it's important to you, this is how you make the resurrection. And this is how you don't make the resurrection. It's simple as that. That's what the Oahspe is all about. Faithists are people who want to make the resurrection. Now, another interesting thing that I learned is how when you when you start growing in the Oahspe, you see the Bible differently now. Now, again, I don't believe that Jesus Christ of the New Testament existed. I don't believe that anymore. I believe he's a construct of false gods who gave Christianity to men, and that it was a corrupted form of the one who really did exist, which was Joshua in the Oahspe, Joshua. So when you come into the light of the Oahspe, then you look at the scriptures in a different way. You look at the Bible differently. On my channel, you're going to see me referring to the Bible a lot with a unique understanding. The Creator has allowed me to have I can look at the Oahspe, and I can look at the Bible, and I can see where the Bible, a lot of it has some very powerful spiritual truths for faithists. I give an example, like what we talk about in the Oahspe. We talk a lot about concepts that the light of the Oahspe is a little too bright for the world that we live in today. But I give an example, like you might ask, why can't people hear this truth more easily? How come it seems so hard? Why is it so many people fight against it? And I recall a story in the book of Luke, I think it was chapter 16. You guys remember the account of Lazarus and the rich man? And then the rich man, he talked about, send me, have Lazarus dip his finger in dip his finger in water for my tongue, is or something. I'm tormented in this flame. And the angel said, no, he can't. He can't cross over to where you are, and you can't cross over to where he is. He's comforted now, and you are in torments. And then he said, besides, there's a great gulf affixed where you cannot come to us. You know what that gulf is? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that gulf is a man's mind. He cannot cross over into the light of the Creator because of his own gulf, his mind that is affixed. That angel said, there is a great gulf affixed. And there ain't nothing that we can do about people who cannot cross that gulf. They cannot, there's nothing a faithist can do. We just have to, the Creator, that's his business. He has to be the one. Eventually, he said everybody's going to resurrect. Everybody is going to resurrect. So everybody will come into the knowledge of the light. The only problem is that you faithists are coming in now. You're resurrecting now. You're making the resurrection now. You're able to come into the light now. You're able to depart from the power of false gods and deity worship and religion. The Creator, he broke that spirit for you. He's the only one that can break the power of a false god. I'm not talking about Luamong or Thoth or Gabriel, or they've been judged. Their kingdom is over with. But now what we're witnessing in the world today are residual, like there was an example, I think it's in the Oahspe or somewhere I read, where after a fire is put out, there's still smoke, and we're in the time of smoke, residual evil, spirits that are fallen, that are a part of Luamong's kingdom, the false Christ, Luamong, Mohammedan, Hinduism, Buddhism kingdoms, they're like leftovers, and they still have power and sway over mortals. But the progenitors of the fallen gods of the religions, they've been judged and they are out of power. But now what we're witnessing is what's called lower spirits who are still able here on the earth, influencing people to be divided, to fighting, to be anti-Jehovahans, so on and so forth. But that's just a little example how you as a faithist, you can read the Bible now. You probably could read any spiritual work and you could translate it to the life of what we go through, like the Jesus Christ of the New Testament. You could translate his life. You could flip that and say that's the life of a faithist because of the opposition that he faced and the wisdom that he showed. Now, the Jesus Christ of the New Testament, he did some things that let us know that he was under a false god too. Did you know that? Jesus Christ did and said some things that showed that he was deceived. The Jesus Christ of the New Testament showed that he was under a deception. I give an example. Like when he said, at first he said, what did he say? He said something like, lay down the sword. And then he said, pick up the sword. Y'all remember that? I can't remember exactly where it's at. He spoke against warfare, and then he advocated for it. Now, nowhere will you ever hear the Creator advocate for war or, violence of any type, offensive or defensive. Jesus Christ, he said something like another example that showed that he was under a deception as well, as he talked about eating of his flesh and drinking his blood. Eating his flesh, drinking his blood. Jesus Christ ate meat. The Creator never taught the eating of meat. Never. The Creator never taught intermediaries to approach him. An intermediary is like, in the world today, you hear people say, Lord God, the Lord Jesus Christ. And I use him primarily because we in the Western Hemisphere and, we are used to, Christianity. So I get on Christianity a lot, but the principle's the same for like the other religions as well. The Creator, he never taught men to establish an intermediary between himself and between the Creator, between us and the Creator. He never taught that. That was the start of idolatry. Men started, when we began to learn and get understanding, the Ethereans came down to teach us, and angels and angel emissaries. And one of men's natural reactions is to build an idol or something. They idolize things. We still do it today. Like if you look at the world today, you see where we have like idols in the world today, movie stars, athletes, people who are famous, who are, you know what I mean? I mean, they're idols. They're, successful. They're rich. And before I keep going, let me, I haven't been looking at the chat. Thank you, brother, for joining me. Can somebody let me know if my, is the sound okay? I should have asked early on. Hey, Moriel, happy birthday, brother. Yogi, Elijah. Can somebody type 1 if the audio is okay? I don't know how to. I'll assume that it's okay if. All right, man. Hey, good to see you, brother. Okay, thanks a lot. The audio is okay. Okay, thanks a lot. So now, where was I? The Jesus Christ of the New Testament. I mean, can you imagine the shock that I was under when I found these things out, and it made sense to me, primarily because the creator, if you read the Oahspe, the creator is pretty, um, what's a good word for harmonious? It don't contradict itself. That's one of the strengths of the Oahspe. That's how you can know you're hearing from the creator, the almighty, the ever-present Jehovah, is the consistency. The consistency. He never advocates the eating of meat. He never advocates the killing of anything. He never advocates warfare. He never advocated an intermediary between himself and false gods. They influence men to make idols so that men would fall down and worship them. And that's what we see today. And we're so ingrained in it that people don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to. Can you imagine what the world is going? Can you, even right now, this is a nation at war. This is a nation at war. I know y'all have heard about, let me digress for a second. I know y'all heard about I talked about it a little earlier. And I'm trying to find that article. I know y'all have heard about it. 165 schoolgirls were killed. 165. I thought I had the article up here somewhere. I guess I don't know. But that's all right. Now, to me, what the creator seems to be doing, I think that these events are his way of warning us. Talking to you, Faithist, letting you know that if we're going to redeem the time, now is the time to do it. Now is the time for us to redeem the time to, in other words, to be, to learn, to do battle with the Satan that's within us. I mean, this is knowledge the world don't have. We realize that we're under the tetracts, evil vibrations that cause us to be separated and to be hateful, and to, which in turn, what's a good word for, it makes you more spiritually dense. It decreases the light of your understanding. If we don't apply the things that we're being taught, so far as the knowledge of the tetracts and how it affects us, and how we these are the things that keep us from making the resurrection, then if we can't apply, if we don't, if we can't, what's the word I'm looking for? In a nutshell, anything and everything that we are going through right now here on the earth is so that we make the resurrection. That's the singular most important thing for any of us, to make the resurrection. The creator, he says that the time that we're in right now and the free will that he has given us is the only time we will be able to have to make our spiritual selves, to make up the type of spirit we will be when we cross over, when we go into our spirit. He says that with free will, with our free will, this is our opportunity to shape who we will be for an eternity, the choices that we make now. And I was talking in the last video about this creator. He works in cycles of time, 200, 600, 800 years. where he'll bring the light, he'll bring revelation, and it's equal to like catching the bus. You catch the bus or you miss the bus. And I know these things aren't really important to the world that we live in, but they are to Faithus, because the creator, he somehow he puts that vibration on a Faithus to be able to cross over, like we were talking about earlier. You know, it feels like, if I may digress for a moment, you know, America, this is a nation, we're in a world that's in decline, man. You know, we're in a world that's in decline. And the thing that tickles me, I shouldn't say tickles me to death, but when you look at the situation we're in, and I don't want, I don't like to talk about the president and the leaders and the, you know, the reason why we're in the situation we're in right now. It's kind of hard not to do it because the creator, he talks about the situation that we're in. I give you an example. One of my favorite verses that I like to refer to, where he talks about the time we're living in. He says, "For I will draw away the righteous." And then you read up earlier, you read up a little, let me see if I can, where the creator, he's talking about the situation that we are in right now in the Oahspe. I forget which book this is. Is this Book of Judgment? Where he says, "But I say to you, this nation," and I'm thinking that he's talking about America, "and this people shall not be attacked in the places you build." He says, "It is within," meaning how we will be destroyed as a people. "For I will draw away the righteous, and none but rogues shall accept your great offices." And that's what's going on with us right now. That's what's going on with, we have people who are in office who are rogues. Rogues. That explains why you have a president like what we have right now. And the creator says, but this goes all the way back to like the 1880s. Hey, Moriel, I'm going to go ahead and put the link. As you can tell, I'm a little rusty. I'll get better, though, as I go along. I'm a little rusty coming back right now, trying to make, but I'm doing the best I can. I'll get better. If anybody wants to come on and we can have a discussion, I'll get better. Just bear with me. This is my second video back. So I'm just trying to get, I'm trying to hit my stride again. I haven't forgot the subject of the video. I'm going to get to it. The Bible is not the creator's word. I'm going to get to it. I'm just kind of digressing right now. There's the link. If anybody wants to come on, we can have a discussion. This channel here, I'll talk about, you know, if anybody has a question about Oahspe or anything, and I'll go right to AI and ask it, and we can learn together. We can learn together. AI is an incredible benefit. But there's the link if anybody wants to come on and you want to take the conversation in a different direction. This here channel, I'm trying to get brethren to come on, man, and let's talk. My dream is to have like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of us all on the same video talking about what we are learning, the world, the darkness that's in the world, how the deception that's in the world, how people, everybody will admit that they want to, they believe in God and they believe in the afterlife, and how they can't hear simple logic, simple, easy to understand things. Remember what it said in the Bible? Y'all remember that in 2 Timothy, where he said, who was it? Paul in 2 Corinthians, I think it was, or is it 2 Timothy, where he said the time will come when they will not hear sound doctrine. Talking about the Uzzians, the anti-Jehovians. That time is right now. And when you keep witnessing these things, brethren, I'm trying to tell you, that's what will make you stronger, because the walk we walk in, it ain't easy. You walk in this all by yourself. See, the difference in the way America chooses a president and the way the creator chooses a God. See, he make you run a long time, man, in developing your character. See, we live in a nation right now where people they talking about, they were deceived. President Trump, he deceived them. See, he's a Gemini, man. He's a good talker. He's working on his lower vibration too. He was talking all that smack about how I'm a changed man. And if I get back in office, I'm going to bring peace and put America first. And everybody's going to be working and it's going to be lower taxes and higher wages and everything. And he talked all that sweet talk, man. He talked real sweet. And then he got in and he changed. See, all you got to do is lie one time to somebody, gain their trust, and then you can abuse them. And that's what he did, and that's what's going on now. And it's really the creator. He letting the world just get into more and more darkness. The inability, no one can hear the light. Only your faithist can subscribe, can hear the creator's voice and make the resurrection. Learned how to try to serve your brethren, fight the evil, the Satan that's within you. These are things that allow you to make the resurrection. We know that you don't make it on this. We know if you don't make it while you're on the earth, we know that when you cross over, it could take you hundreds or thousands of years to make the resurrection. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, man. Let me see. Moriel's talking to me. Hey, Moriel, if you want, you can click the link. We can have discussion. Let me see. Can humanity determine their own fate, or is that predestined already? The regeneration speaks to this. Well, free will, from what I understand, you can determine your own fate. Your free will allow you to do that. The creator, he don't violate it. He let you make choices while we're here on the red star called the earth. And then based on the choices that you make, when we go into our spirit body, then that's where either we are what's a good word for? We are on the path to resurrection, or we are not. Either we are on the path, because the whole issue is this right here. If you're under a false god, a deity, or then you go to them. If you're under the light of the creator as shown in the Oahspe, then you go to the creator. And the creator says that people who are able to come into the light, they, like the Bible says, you go from glory to glory. Our resurrection is from glory to glory. It's better and better and better and better and better and better and better. Whereas people who are under a deity stay stuck, and you go into bondage, you go into slavery. Now the Oahspe, it gives you examples of what false gods do to their subjects in the spiritual. And it's really no different than what tyrants do on the earth. They make you, they abuse you, they take advantage of you. The creator said, yeah, that really happens. Hey, Sly, good to see you, man. Okay. Sly says there's no such thing as free will. Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, it's really, see, that's another thing too, man. Spirituality, it can be two sides to every story. And the creator, he allows that. The creator, the situation he's got us in, you have to make the decision. Okay. If you want to say that there is no free will, that's your free will. Okay. But the fact remains the same. We are subject to the choices we make. It's as simple as that. That's really all spirituality really is in a nutshell. The choices we make now reflect on when we go into our spirit self. Let me see. Hey, I love you engaging with me, brother. Sly. I don't know. I've never seen you before, but I'm glad you're here. If you want, you can click the link and we can have discussion as long as we can be civil and, and that's the only requirement. Be open-minded and be willing to hear, and I'll be willing to listen. And, hopefully we can be friends with one another, even if we don't agree. That's the purpose of this channel. You say, I thought a man's goings are the most high. Well, the world uses the term the most high, and they could be My question is, when a person uses that phrase, who are you talking about? Are you talking about Jehovah? Are you talking about Jehovah? You know, there's a difference. Jehovah. Did you, brethren, know Jehovah is the God of very wickedness? Jehovah is talking about the creator. Let me see if I can find that real quick. This is I show a lot of people this, and they are in shock. Let me try. Hold second. Hold tight. Let me try to show. Let me. A lot of people don't know this. Hold on a second. Jehovah in the Hebrew means. I don't think it's going to give me what I. Sometimes you can't rely on the internet. You can't rely on AI. You have to be careful. Okay, let me try it another way. I'll bring it up on screen here in a second. Hold on. Let me find it first. What does the word Hovah mean in Hebrew? Everybody, just bear with me a second. Okay, check this out. I found it. Now, check this out. You see that right there? That's the suffix to Jehovah. Hova. Is that right, suffix? Is that the second part of a word, suffix? Or is that the... But anyway, look, if it's on the screen here, I trust it's on the screen. Hova. Look at what it means. Ruin, disaster, mischief. Jehovah is really, that's part of the word Jehovah. So people don't know that when you ask a person, you say, who's most high? They say Jehovah is one of the names that they use. They don't know that they are subscribing to a false God who is the God of ruin, the God of disaster, the God of mischief. That's why when you read the Oahspe, the creator says, one of my names is Jehovah. Jehovah, V-I-H. Now, they say the devil's in the details, but that's a pretty important detail, because I'm sure if I was talking to somebody and their name was Moriel, and I said, if I was talking to Moriel and I said, hey, Terry, he wouldn't turn around and look at me. Or if I said, Sly, I called Sly. If I called you, I say, hey, Jeffrey, I wouldn't expect you to pay any attention to me. You certainly wouldn't turn around. You might say, who are you talking to? And in essence, it may sound kooky, but the creator, he's saying the same thing. Who you talking? You're not talking to me. You're not praying to me. You might think you are, but I'm not listening, Now, I'm just pointing this out to say that when you're talking about Jehovah, then you automatically have to subscribe to the revelation he's given us. That's kind of like the trap, not like Jehovah would set a trap, but that's like the conundrum that he played. If you say that you subscribe to Jehovah, the all present, the creator, the all person, then you have to subscribe to his word. You can't subscribe to the creator and then attribute other doctrines, the doctrine of false gods, to the creator. They don't go together. Just like the Bible, again, the Bible, the creator. Let's go to that study right now. We can go to that study right now. Let's go to the title of the video. I shouldn't have took so long getting to it. I didn't mean to. I just get carried away, I think, sometime. Now, bear with me a second. What I'm getting ready to do, and if anybody, you have, let me see. If you have a question, I'm going to make part of my program, I'm going to just use AI. I was sitting here thinking about the title of the video, and I get most of my inspiration at night. I'm telling you, if I did my videos at night, it would be a different Yaiquab. it would be a different Yaiqua because I get most of my information, my inspiration after the hours of 11 to 2 in the morning. It's the most incredible thing. Okay, now let's go to the study. Oh, it's great, Sly. Let's be friends, man. You know, you know, this is a channel for faithists. I'm dedicated to trying to look at here. Oh, I got Brother Omian. Man, thank you, Jehovah. Good night, man. Moriel, Omian, Sly, Elijah, Maine, Yogi, Nazarene. Oh, man. Bless my soul, man. Bless my soul. So, Omian, if you want to come on, the link is in the chat. Okay. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. You know, I'm afraid to admit, I thought you fell off, man. I'm going to dedicate my channel, man, to try to encourage to the best of my ability. The year that I took off, the Creator, he really made me convicted, man. I was facing a life issue, and I think that he had me stop ministering, and he worked on me, man. I mean, he did something to my spirit, and it made me more concrete. And now I'm back on, and I'm just only interested in spreading as much light as I can, even though nobody wants to hear it. Okay, now let's get on with the study, okay? Now, the name of the video is The Bible's Not the Creator's Word. And Omian, help me, man. If you see something, I make a mistake, man, click on that link here. Let me put it in the thing again, in case you decide you want to come on, or any other faithless brother who drop in. And, you know, if I make a mistake, I want you to come on and correct me. So let me put the link you can click on this link. I'll bring you on. You can join me here on the video. Now let's look at this. Okay, now this is Grok. I like to use Grok on Twitter. Now I'm going to ask it a question. I'm going to ask it about the title of the video. What does the creator of the Oahspe say about the Bible? See, now we can learn together. Now, I hope that you can read that. So let me jump down here. I better not. I better start at the top, because this is how lengthy the answer is. Okay. And so let me go through all of it. Okay. According to Oahspe, I'm gonna just hit the points. Okay. It tells you about the Oahspe. A lot of people trip on this right here. They say it was written by a white man, and he used spooky methods, and he came up with this. Now, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't help you if you stuck there. What helped me to come into the knowledge of the Oahspe and to be able to hear it is the light that's within me. Just like if you brethren were in the stadium and your parents were there, and someone came to you and said, "Hey, man, I give you $1 million if you can identify your mom and your dad." All you got to do, they're going to say 2 words to you, and you're in a stadium full of people. Each one is going to come to you and say, "Hi." Say, "Hi. Hi, son. Hi, daughter." All you have to do is identify them. I bet you 100% of the time a child would be able to identify his parents. Same way in the spiritual. The Creator is speaking this word. It's not received. People cannot hear it. The light is too bright, but the children can hear it. And even though the logic is locked tight, the wisdom is locked tight. I mean, the things the Creator says, the way he prophesies, he tells you about things men don't know. And still, it's hard to hear. You have to have the Creator break the power of that false god. Only the Creator can do it. Anyway, let's look at this. Why is the Bible not the Creator's word? Okay, now the Ezra Bible, that's the King James Bible right here. The Ezra Bible, he talks about that, the Ezra Bible. The Ezra Bible scriptures as compiled dates not from Moses' time, but from Ezra's around 2344. That BK is before Cosman. Cosman started in 1848. It was a combination of books assembled under Ezra in Jerusalem, drawing from older faithists, true worshipers of Jehovah teachings, but it was mixed with laws and ceremonies and influences from false gods. See, there was a little bit of truth in there, and there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of corruption, and that's where the power of false gods is. They give a little bit of truth, and then they just start piling on. All you got to do, man, is get somebody's trust. As soon as you get their trust, then you can lay it on thick. That's what Trump did, President Trump. He's a gifted liar. He's a gifted liar. See, I was going to say something earlier too, man. The Creator, he put us. Do you know it takes thousands of years to become a god or a goddess? It takes thousands of years, man. Thousands of years, man. It ain't like in America, you get a guy, he all of a sudden decide he's going to run for office, and he gives a little campaign, and then a year later he's elected. That's no way to test a man. That ain't no way. The Creator, he puts you through the mill. He puts you through life. He puts you through uncertainty. He puts you through doubt. He hurts you. You come into, areas of life that you get hurt. Somebody hurts you. See, the Creator, he is the only one that knows how to legislate the human heart. Where when he gets finished with you, the change is going to be organic, man. That's the only way to drive out them tetracts. See, the Creator, before he make a person a god or a goddess, you got to do like hundreds and thousands of years. Read the Oahspe, man. Read the resume of Serpenta Armage. Or some like Omian, like you were telling me. The resume of some of them dudes, man. Gods and goddesses. They spent 30,000 years surveying, They spent 50,000 years in manufacturing, They spent 70,000 years in cosmology and road making, They spent another 100,000 years doing map making, They spent another 200,000 years, working with colors and using sounds, See, the Creator, by the time he get around to using you, you are tried and true, and you got wisdom. Here in this country here, a man runs, he campaigns for a year, and he's elected to the highest office in the land. Even though he has a history of disrespecting women, vulgar talking, cheating people, defrauding people, and it ain't just Trump, man. The Creator said that from the time the Oahspe was printed, nothing but rogues was going to inherit our high offices. And he said this trend is going to continue year after year, and I would think until the kingdom comes. until he establishes the kingdom on the earth, if you ask me. So that's where we at right now. So if you want to know why we in the situation we in, the creator, he tells you beforehand. Let's keep going here. The reason why the Bible is not the creator's word. So we looked at the Ezra Bible here, okay? Creator is telling you, he compiled it from the teachings of Faithus, but it got mixed. False gods. Let's read it again. It says, the Ezra Bible, that's the King, what we refer to as the King James, the Jewish Christian scriptures as compiled, dates not from Moses' time, but from Ezra's, around 2344 years before Cosmin. That's 1848. That's when the Cosmin era began. The Cosmin era, for those you don't know, that's where the spiritual and the spiritual and the physical are going to mature. In other words, the kingdom is going to come on the earth. There's going to be an end to wars. It's going to be an end to men seeking dominion over one another. It's going to be an end to, from what I could see, it's going to be the tetrarchs that we're under, the evil vibrations that we're under, the Satan in people is going to be greatly defeated. I don't know if it'll be all the way defeated, but the kingdom of God will be people serving one another. It won't be people serving themselves. We're going to realize that the way to make it, man, is we have to learn to serve one another. We have to learn to not stop wanting to try to serve ourselves and serve each other. We have got to learn that lesson, and we're going to learn it. That's what the Cosmin era is going to be, from my best understanding. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So we see here that the Ezra Bible is a combination of books assembled under Ezra in Jerusalem, drawing from older Faithus. Some of it came from true worshipers of Jehovah, but it got mixed with laws and ceremonies and influences from false gods. So this is the creator talking. So the brother asks, how do we know free will how do we know that we have free will? And the short answer is the creator says we do, is the short answer. That's the short answer. And I think that we, free will is as simple as, I mean, I think it depends on how you describe it too. That might, be part of the issue, but I'm using free will to basically say that the creator, he allows us to make choices that, make our own choices, to the best of our ability. And if we are open, then we can make educated choices, the ashars that the creator, he assigns to each one of us based on whether we're open to the leanings of the creator. We can make informed, educated decisions, and our decisions are going to lean more towards the eternal, the spiritual. And in that way, our free will, it can greatly benefit us, because the creator says that we are eventually a product of the decisions that we make when we go into the spiritual. We're a product of the decisions that we make. So continuing on, the Bible is a product of some good and some corruption. Ezra drew from the true worshipers of Jehovah, the compiler of the King James Bible, Ezra, as we know it. He drew from false gods, in order to bring men into bondage and to bring them into captivity. They have to have they have a greater wisdom than we have. They got it from somewhere. False gods don't become gods without knowledge. Some gods are righteous, some are wicked. The ones that fell chose to become wicked. And they used that knowledge to deceive men, to establish their own kingdoms. And they're able to do that. They're able to deceive men. Again, Trump is a good example. He got in there. He persuaded the people, yeah, I'm different than the first term. I'm going to be about the people. I'm going to be about putting y'all first. And the people bought it. I even thought that he was going to be a changed man when he got in. And then when he got in, it became obvious he was going to serve rich people, and he was going to serve the rich constituents and forget about the people who what's a good word for the less powerful, let's say. He campaigned, he sold the people a bill of goods, and then when he got in office, then he changed. And there's more I wish I could say about it, but if I want to keep my channel going, I better not. Let's just say he got himself bought off. And when you can't test a man's heart, when all he got to do is talk, he's liable to say, he knows that he can deceive you. And 1 year is not enough time to judge a person's soul, to see what's in their soul. Without a track record, it's impossible. And so now we're in a situation in the world where I tell you, man, I fear for what's coming on this earth. I fear for what's coming on this earth. We're getting close to the 200-year harvest cycle. Who knows what the Creator has planned, man? Who knows, man? All I can say is you faith this, man. Redeem the time. We got to redeem the time. Learn, dedicate ourselves to putting off the Satan that's within us. That's one of the most important things. Learn what the Satan is that's within us when we want to serve ourselves, when we are vainglorious, when we want to be worshipped. That's the Satan that's within us that we got to do battle against. The Creator, he talks about a spiritual grade. And I know that that's important to everybody. Although I believe I've learned since I've known the Oahspe that you can't really live trying to increase your spiritual grade. When it comes to the Creator and the light and the knowledge that he's given us, it's got to be more natural. It's just got to resonate with you in order to live this type of life, because of the opposition that you get as a faithist. People can't hear you. Christians they're the worst of all, man. Somehow they can harmonize picking up a weapon with the concepts of the Bible, the righteous concepts, peace, love, unity, brotherhood of man, that sort of thing. Those are concepts in the Bible, but there's some, just like we got finished reading here, there is some corruption in the Bible, which shows you it cannot come from the Creator. I mean, the Oahspe is not perfect either, but it's a more complete revelation of who the Creator is. But the Bible has a lot of corruption in it, but it's got just enough truth in it to to sell people into the false god that is behind it. It says the text acknowledges positive elements, talking about the Oahspe. It acknowledges the positive elements of the Bible, such as the Ten Commandments. The Oahspe is down with that, which are endorsed in place. It says the text, meaning the Oahspe, it acknowledges positive elements such as 10 Commandments of Moses. In parentheses, it says, which are endorsed in places in doctrines attributed to Joshua, whom the world calls Jesus, in God's book of Esra. So it's saying that the principles and the elements, characteristics of the 10 Commandments, they do align with Jehovah, the Oahspe. They do align with Jehovah. But it says it also references biblical figures and events, Abraham warning of deception by evil angels or Moses' laws, but reinterprets them within Oahspe's cosmology. See, and then when you read the Bible, you see how Abraham, he even fell under deception. Or was it Moses? Remember the burning bush, famous story, Moses burning bush. Moses drew near to it, and then he didn't know who it was. Now Moses, he knew the Creator. How is it that he didn't know who was behind the burning bush, the story of the burning bush? And then I think the spirit, the angel that spoke in the burning bush said that I am, what did it say? I am God or something like that. Hold on a second. Let me, it might be a good idea to take a look at that. And Moses drew near to the burning bush that burned, but it was not consumed. Let's read this together and see what we can get out of this. In Exodus, it said Moses encountered the burning bush on Mount Horeb while tending sheep. He saw a bush on fire but not consumed, prompting him to turn aside to investigate, at which point God called to him from the bush. Let me see. Let's look at that. Let's look at the account. Okay, so let's jump down. It said the angel of God, that's going to slip most people. See, that's not going to slip a faith. It's not going to slip the notice of a faithist. We know how to identify when there's a false god on the scene as opposed to a true God or Jehovah. It says the angel of God appeared to him in flames of fire blazing out of the middle of the bush. He looked, the bush was blazing away, but it didn't burn up. Moses said, "What's going on here? I can't believe this." Well, let me see. I don't like this translation. I want the one that we're all used to. Let's see if we can find the one we're all used to. Okay, here we go. King James. And it said, Moses said, let me see. It says, and when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see God, God called to him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. He said, here I am. He said, draw nigh. He said, he said, here I am. And he said, draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet at the place whereof thou stand, the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Okay, so now it says, and Moses hid his face where he was afraid to look upon God. Now it says, and the Lord said, that's another key word right there that lets us know he was talking to a false God. It says, I've surely seen thy affliction. Okay, now the part I'm looking for, I think I skipped over it. Now I want the part where it shows he didn't know who this was. The angel of the Lord, that's a key word right there that's letting us know this is a false God that's coming to him. Appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside, God called him out of the midst of the bush, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. And he said, draw not. Okay, so this is not, he didn't know who he was talking to. And where is it? I want that part that showed that he wasn't familiar with who he was dealing with. Okay, I think this is it right here. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come to the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? And then, here we go. He says, and what shall I say to them? See, this is not Moses who knew the Creator. He doesn't know. This is someone different who was deceiving him into thinking that he was dealing with the Creator. But Moses, he knew the Creator. I hope it's making sense. Moses is one of the light givers. See, let's look at this again. Let's look at this. Let's look at AI again. Let me ask you the question. Okay, it looks like am I even broadcasting? Can anybody hear me? Type of one. I have a warning sign that came up on my screen. I don't know if I'm booted. Can anybody hear me? Type one if you can hear me. Can anybody hear me? Am I still broadcasting? Still having the same old problems that I had. Can anybody hear me? Testing one, two. Oh, okay. Thanks, Omia. Okay, let's see if I want to show who the lawgivers of the Oahspe were. I'm going to use AI. Who were the lawgivers of the OAHSPE guidebook? Now, Moses is one of them. That's why I made the comment that the creator, Moses knew who the creator was, but he got deceived. See, it says Moses. He was one of the lawgivers. These are the main lawgivers right here of the Oahspe. See that? Zarathustra, Abram, Brahma, Poe, Kapilia, Sakeah, Moses, Joshua. See, this right here, Joshua, is where the New Testament got its inspiration from. This Joshua here, this is not Jesus of Nazareth. So they made a mistake. See how AI can even be, it can be wrong. You have to watch AI. It's a big help, but it can also be wrong. Joshua is the inspiration. They should have said Joshua is the inspiration of Jesus of Nazareth. Okay, so anyway, Moses is listed here as one of the lawgivers of the Oahspe. Iowata, Chinea. These are the the people that brought the Creator to the world. Zarathustra, Abram, Brahma, Kapilia, Poe, and their doctrines got corrupted to where we're in the situation that we're in right now. False gods encourage men to make idols, and now you have today. You can't even pull. I mean, people are so indoctrinated into their idols and to their gods that they can't see the light of the Creator. They can't hear it. You have to be some special person for the Creator to break the power of that false god. Oh, okay. Omi said I did a video before who was the God of Moses. If you got that link, put it in the chat, Omia. If you got that link so they can see it. So that's how we know, as faithists, we know the Bible, that's not the Creator's word. Wait till the world gets a hold of that. When they finally understand that, the Bible is not the Creator's word. And already, I mean, I've seen, I like I said before, man, I love to try to share the light with people. I love it. And just recently, I tried to share with some woman. She called me a demon. That's, what my experience has been. I'm telling you, man, the battle lines have been drawn. People are going, I mean, this, and the Creator, he said that the light was going to go out from America. Did y'all know that? You know that America is going to be the place where the light is going to come on the earth. It's going to explode on the earth. America, Guatemala. But look where we are right now, man. You could possibly, I mean, people, they are that close to getting violent with you. You start talking about the things that, like what I'm saying here, you have to be careful, man. The Bible is not the creator's word. It is not the creator's word. You know, this dude, he just died recently, Khomeini, Iran. Whenever something like that happened, I always go back and read what happened to him. He went to his God. You know, I'm not here to disparage the man, you know. The Oahspe, the creator, he tells you what happened to the man. He went to his God. He did not make the resurrection. He won't make it for hundreds or even thousands of years. He has to do without money what he could have done with money, like it says in the Oahspe, meaning he could have used his free will to make the resurrection. I could be wrong. You may feel differently, but the Oahspe, let me show you. That's another one of my favorite verses. I love that verse. The one where the creator, he talked about money. He says, you're going to have to do without money what you could have done with money. Y'all remember that part? Let me see if I can find it. He said, you are going, see, these things, you know, it's kind of rough, man, because we talk, these are, you know, we are so few in number, Faithus. And the distraction in the world is very great at this time. It's very great. I mean, people are preoccupied with their personal situation so that they got no time. They love Christianity because Christianity is, nothing's really required of you. It ain't nothing really required of you. Now, let me try to find that verse where it says, this is going to be hard because there's a lot of references to money. Let me see if I can find it. Matter of fact, let me do it. Let me see if I could do it this way. Let me see if I can do it this way. That verse where he talks about money, the creator, he's telling you that your time now, it may seem hard. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me try to find it. But it's like either I don't want to sound harsh, but it's like you pay the bill now or you pay it later, and it's much harder to pay it later. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Where in the Oahspe does it say you will have to do without money what you could have done with money on the earth? Let's see if it can find it. You know, I love this passage, man. Be spiritual truth right here. This is, man, this is word. I mean, this is gold for you, brethren. Thou shalt in heaven accomplish without money what thou could have done with money, and the difference it required to do a thing without means is compared to what might be done by one having means. It's the difference in the grade thou shalt attain in heaven. That means if you want to live for the earth, while you got the opportunity to make yourself, like the Oahspe says, this is your opportunity for us to make ourselves. Now, I don't know about you, but if you tell me which one do I rather have, now, and I don't want to try to make people afraid or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that, man. I'm just saying that I think I know a good deal when I see one, and I don't think this is like a deal or anything like that. But it is the way it is, man. One way or another, you're going to make the resurrection. You might as well make it now. Life is short, man, you know? And the creator says, he basically saying, if you don't want to make the changes and do the work now, you will do it, but it's going to be harder and it's going to be longer. In the sense that you won't be able to make the resurrection, man. I don't want to. I'm not trying to put anybody, make any depress anybody. But what we doing, what you brethren doing here, this is serious business, what we involved with. We got a world of people, they constantly, we got to stare at the unbelief of the world every day. You think that don't have an effect on you? And then on top of that, we got to do business. We got to do battle with ourselves. And then every time you turn around, it seems like evil is constantly winning. You got the Uzians, you got the Drooks, bombing and killing people, and it seems like don't nothing happen to them. And here you struggling, day in, day out, doing battle spiritually, trying to, not eat meat, examine yourself, dedicate yourself to being selfless. All these concepts, they go against I don't know how it is. Well, I know it's the same with you. I'm out here in Tucson, Arizona now, and it's a meat church on every corner. And I never thought I'm still, sometimes I'm amazed that I don't eat meat, man. I don't know how you can do that to Yikwa, but it's true. But I still lust after it in my heart a lot of times. You know what I mean? I'm a lot better than I was. The effect is getting better. I'm getting better at that vibration wearing off of me every day. I'm getting better. But it's not easy, man. And there's a meat church on every corner. I know it's the same where you live too. Churches, Wendy's, McDonald's, Church of the Prime Rib, House of Fish Food, worship 3 times a day on Sunday, It's everywhere. The whole reality is geared. It's a hothouse. It's an agricultural hothouse for faithists, man. It's an agricultural hothouse. And the Creator, He does it on purpose for your growth, man. Your growth. Everybody respects a person who, during their lifetime, they dedicate themselves. And then at some point in their life, their time comes and they get on the world stage. They ready for the world stage now. And you see them on TV and you envy and you want to be them. Well, we going through that right now. We going through it right now. And you faithists, man. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm telling you, man. And it's only a short time for us. A short time, man. That's why you got to keep up with the Oahspe. You got to read where the Creator says, man, He rooting for us. He tell you things like, man, try to imagine where you're going, man. And the best that you could think of won't come close to what the reality is. I know talking about these things, it's a little hard sometimes to talk about things that seem way far off. But I know they true. And then you got the witness, at least for me, I got the witness, my body breaking down every day, man. Every day, man, I feel worse and worse. But I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier what I'm going through. I couldn't be happier now that I have this understanding. And then on top of that, you could talk to people and you can help them to understand when they are going through stuff like this too. To be a light, man, to be selfless like that, you're on top of it. You are on, and after a while, it's fun. Especially when you get to share with somebody who's receptive. They may be, so you might find somebody who's ready. And that's the That's the greatest right there. You know, yeah. Our objective, man, is to get all the way, make it out of not only the red star, but atmospheria, to leave it completely, to be totally free of the tetracts, man. Totally free. That's our mission, should we decide to accept it. The Bible, that's not the Creator's word, man. But you can benefit from it. You can benefit from the scriptures, especially when you see that a lot of it is talking about you. You look at the life of Jesus Christ, you see the wisdom that he had, how he could shut people up, and how they reacted to him. It's the same with you. This word, I'm telling you from experience, man, it will put you on an island. And we as faithists, we're not together, man. We're not. Man, I'd give anything for a faithless church, man. But I don't think the Creator, he wants that right now. I really don't think. I think he wants us scattered. I think he wants us to remain scattered, man. I think, I don't know. I could be wrong. I seem to think that it's not going to always be that way because we're supposed to be in communities. So I'm gonna end it right there, and I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna see if anybody wants to come on, hang out a little bit. I got upcoming videos already scheduled. Tuesdays and Fridays is when I expect to do the streams. I'm gonna get better as I go along, as I pick up speed, getting back into the swing of things, videos. I hope the Creator gives me wisdom to share with y'all. We looking at a world, man, that's, I'm thinking about how there's a situation going on right now. I mean, the war and everything. And, if something don't change over there, I'm sure you brother know that, or maybe you don't know that Iran, they closed the Strait of Hormuz. That means that gas prices, energy prices are going to go up. The Strait of Hormuz, 20% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. When you cut off the oil like that, everything gets more expensive. Now, that's not the end of it, man. I could go on about the situation. I mean, you got to be on the lookout, man, because from what I have seen, what I have learned is, and the world, from what I have seen, they seem to love the distraction. They to love to talk about war, love what's going on. Oh, look at they in trouble over there, and look at the misery they under, but I'm okay over here. But all that time, you're not redeeming the time. You're not, people they relish in talking about war. Oh, look at that bomb, man. You see that weapon over there, man? They got something new over there, and they dropped it the other day, and they're working on something else next month, gonna roll it out, and the world get a kick out of that stuff. That's where we live, man. We live, I mean, people, they know all about weapon systems and ammunition and warfare and tactics and schemes. Americans know all about every single detail of that stuff. How to kill somebody in 3 seconds, and obtaining resources, and how I can, how we can benefit and how we can screw them. That's where we live. We live right there, man. But the Creator, I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the shock that's coming on America is going to be devastating when people see that they've been left behind, or they missed the light. They missed it. And I firmly believe that's what's going to happen. People are, there's so many, the controversies just keep coming and taking people away. And no one has any time for the Creator. The Creator is not controversial enough. He doesn't bring enough excitement. And that's how he tests us faithists. He make us He make a faith that's out of concrete, man. He makes us concrete so we can withstand. And remember in the Bible, the rain fell and the winds blew, but the foundation remained because it was founded on a rock. That's talking about faiths. That's talking about faiths and what the Creator has done for us. There ain't nothing that can shake us. The light is too great, man. There's nothing the world can offer that can match the light of the Creator in the Oahspe. There's nothing even close. I'm gonna end with this. I was talking to a doctor. I went to the hospital the other day, and the doctor, and they take pride in how smart they are. You know, one thing I see a lot on Twitter, I see people debating, and they got this phrase. They say that was a low IQ argument. Really, they saying black people are stupid. That's what they really mean by that. They really talking about black and brown people, because usually the people that say that are white people. They say that was a low IQ argument. I'm hearing that a lot, right? And really, that's the depth of the race, the hatred that's in this world. You know, where they point to someone's intellect, but then when you tell them, well, wait a minute, what do you have that you didn't receive? So why are you boasting? I was talking to that doctor, and he had a flavor coming off of him like, I'm a smart white man. I'm smart. Now don't try to accuse me of being a racist, man. Just don't try it, man, you know? Cuz we all have got our issues. Okay? I'm just sharing this because I'm going to make a point. And he said something. I said, are you spiritual? Because, you know, I'm always looking for a lead in. Always looking for a lead in to share the Creator, black or white, anybody, anyone who will listen. He said, yeah. He said, I get up in the morning, I read the morning scriptures every day, and I pray. And I could read his spirit, and he was proud of himself. He was very proud of himself. And then when I tried to talk to him, and you know my famous line, right? Y'all know my famous line. What's the difference between a God and a Lord? He sensed that I knew something. He sensed that I knew something. And now this is the same with you, brethren, too. That's why you got to be careful with the world, because you don't want to alienate them. You want to try to draw them in, right? And he sensed that I was going to start talking to him about something I knew about that he didn't. And he cut the conversation off. Even though he was treating me, he didn't want me to tell him. He sensed that I was going to tell him something. And people don't like you messing around with their investment. After they invested something in religion for so long, they don't want you saying nothing. You know, they don't want you, you know, especially some Negro. He don't want to hear. He knew that I had something to tell him. And he picked up on it, and he made it clear he didn't want to keep talking. He didn't want to go on now. He wanted to tell me how he prayed and he read and he's a good Mormon and everything. But then when he saw that I was getting ready to come back with something, he didn't want none of that. And that's the whole, it ain't just because he's white. Everybody's like that. Spirits, they all got, the spirits are like that. They don't want none of the Creator's smoke, man. And people pride themselves on how smart they are. That's how proud the world is. they get a real kick. They think they did it themselves. All right, that's it for me, man. Anybody want to come on? Anybody want to come on and say, let me, man, and I'm going to emphasize that I don't have to do these I don't have to do these videos in the sense that I get on and I start talking. If somebody, it's just like before I stopped for a while. I want to dedicate this channel to anybody. If maybe you want Omian, if you still here, it's the same thing, man. If you have something you want to share, I'll gladly step aside. I'll step aside. Anybody, if anybody wants to share something that they think that we need to hear, brethren, I'm telling you, man, anytime that you want to serve your brethren like that, and you do it by sharing your life, I'm telling you, man, at the end of the day, all of you, all we're going to want to care about is where we stand spiritually. That means redeeming the time. That means listening to the Creator, listening to Him tell us what to do while we're on the red star. So, if nobody has anything they want to share, then look for me Friday. I've got all the streams. Okay, Omia, I'm glad you made it, man. I thought that you might have dropped off or I hadn't heard from you in a while on Facebook or anything. I didn't know where you had gone. I'm glad to see you here, man. That blesses my soul. And so Friday, I've got a stream of videos all planned out, Tuesdays and Fridays. Oh, okay, you're at work. That one time, one of the last videos I made, you came on, me and you, we had a good time. I think we clicked together. I think we really clicked together. We ought to do a joint video, a joint channel. I'm serious. Me and you, we ought to do a joint channel. I clicked with you. I mean, our conversation, it was, I just thought it was beautiful, man. Yeah, let's redeem the time together, man. Let's redeem the time. Let us all, man, let us keep running. Let's redeem the time. If the world don't want to go with us, then let's just go by ourselves, man. Let's just go by ourselves. The days are evil. Look out. Look at what's going on around you, brethren. Better look, man. The world is in a perilous situation right now. They fighting and dropping bombs over there. Let me give you a quick rundown. Iran, the United States and Israel, they were negotiating with Iran. And really, it was a ploy. And this is how the United States do business. They trick people, right? See, them Persians, them Middle Eastern, they look at a man's spirit. They look to see how honorable you are. And even though they know you playing them for a sucker, they let you put your whole butt in the trap first. They let you carry out they let you go all the way with your fraud, and then that lets them know to always watch you. So the United States and Israel went over there, and while they were staging their war fighting equipment, they called themselves negotiating with them. They called themselves negotiating with Iran, saying, "Hey, don't try to enrich uranium for a nuclear weapon, and then don't make missiles that can fly. If you're going to make missiles, make it so that they won't fly outside of your own borders." How crazy is that? And so Iran, they said they thought they were making progress when all of a sudden, United States and Israel started bombing them. See, that's when the war started. They started bombing them. Now, I'm kind of confused, if I may digress for a second. Radiance Anthology said there weren't going to be no more wars from now until the harvest. So I must have misread that map I showed y'all last year. It showed that ticker tape line that it kept going up and up and up and up and up till 2049. So I think now what that map is saying is that the opportunity for the light is going to increase as the destruction in the world grows and people turn to the Creator. Now, I could be wrong, but back to the story I was telling. So they were deceiving Iran, the United States and Israel. They were tricking them. They were leading them along until they staged all their ships and all their plans were put into place. And then they broke off negotiations and bombed them. They bombed them, right? They started bombing them, right? The only problem is that they can only do it for so long. The United States can only do it for so long. They can only keep it up for like 4 or 5 days. Bombing and stuff like that. And them ships over there, at some point, they got to come back home. They can't stay there forever. And then on top of that, you got people on ships, the human element. They don't want to be out there 6, 7, 8, 9 months. The human element. Iran, they knew all this. And so the United States, after they bombed them for a couple of days, see, then they wanted to quit, right? They wanted to quit. And then Iran said, no, real thing this, meaning we going to go, they're going to take, Iran going to take your butt out to deep water, and then they're going to drown you. See, these are Persians. They're chess players. See? And now the United States is over there. They can't leave and they can't go. They're going to run out of munitions to fight and bomb with. Iran know that. They're going to string them along, and they're going to take them out to deep water, in a sense, and then they're going to drown them. In other words, they're going to humiliate the United States. They're going to make them have to run with their tail in between their legs. And then when they get out of the Middle East, what do you think is going to happen to Israel? Iran is not finished with them either. See, this is the situation we in. It's going to affect all of us. All of us are going to be affected by what's going on. That situation is going on right now. They killed Iran's leader. Iran said, now we are going to, if this thing ends, it's going to be on our terms, which means it means the end. More than likely, it means the end of Israel, I would think. It means the end of them. But I digress. I'll spare you that. It's really not a channel for that. I'm just trying to make the point. This is the world we live in. You can't just get taken away with distractions. You got to think about the Creator and how you can redeem the time, brethren. You got to think. You can't let life take you away from how we can redeem the time. We got the knowledge. We have to do it. Remember that verse I showed y'all, man. If you remember anything, remember that verse. You're going to have to do without money the things you could have done with money. And the Creator is not subject to human emotion or bouts of melancholy when it comes to the plan that He has for all of us. The Creator has set down a template and He don't deviate from it. All men must resurrect, and we're going to resurrect the way that He's laid out, plain and simple. Brethren, thank you for joining me. If nobody wants to come on and say a word or anything, then I'll take that as your permission that I can close the video and then come back on Friday. Creator willing, I'll come back on Friday. And brethren, I'm back, and thanks for joining me. I'm going to get better as I go along here. I'm still a little spotty in my presentation. So it's really blessed my soul, man, when you brethren come on and um, come and check in, and hopefully the Creator give me something to say to y'all. So, Jehovah, I just thank you for this video, and I just hope that as the days go on, that we can redeem the time. We can make the resurrection. We're outnumbered. We live in darkness. We live in a world that can't hear you. Nobody wants to hear you. So the people who do hear you, the Vetus, Creator, Jehovah, I pray for our Ashars, that you will strengthen us, and that the individual medical needs of the brethren throughout the world, the Vetus, that you will tend to them and just help us to make the resurrection. Jehovah, in your name, thank you. Brethren, thanks for joining me. And until I see you again, Creator be with you.